To start out, let's get spicy right from the jump. No, I'm just kidding. But one of the most toxic conversations in 49er Twitter right now is, who's going to start as starting quarterback for the 49ers between Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo. And I really don't want to get too much into that. That has been, debated constantly every single day. What I really want to talk about with you, Jack, is more, with even the staunchest Jimmy Garoppolo fans understand that the writing's on the wall. The 49ers invested, 3 first-round picks to get Trey Lance. So whether or not Trey plays at all this season, definitely by next season, it'll probably be the end of Jimmy Garoppolo's tenure with the 49ers. So kind of just giving Jimmy Garoppolo some of his flowers. How would you place him, and what do you feel like is going to be his legacy left with the 49ers in his, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years with the 49ers up until this point?
Yeah, I think Garoppolo really gets the short end of the stick a lot of times in these conversations that you hear, because people will just rip on this guy, and I understand that he has his faults and his shortcomings, but it's hard, and I understand that even though he's 22-8, it's not all Jimmy Garoppolo, but you can't just completely not pay attention to the fact of how bad the team has been when he hasn't been the starting quarterback, right? So there's got to be some things that he's doing right when he's on the field. Even if he does getting a lot of help from his defense and he does turn the ball over too much, and he has all these faults. He has these warts that we talk about. That's my thing when I talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. My thing is always he's so hard to watch, but at the same time he wins. So if I was going to put him somewhere in the 49ers legacy, I think I'd put him right below like a Jeff Garcia in terms of where he should rate out. You've got Montana and Young and Brody, and those are really the top guys. White Tittle, obviously, as well, going way back with some of those names there. And then you kind of have Jeff Garcia as kind of that next tier down. And then you kind of have Garoppolo, because after Garcia, there really isn't very many good quarterbacks that have come through with the 49ers. So I think he falls in right below there. I mean, even when Garcia was a 49er, I think he went to the Pro Bowl 2 or 3 times as a 49er, and Garoppolo hasn't gotten there yet, but he did take the 49ers to a Super Bowl.
Right.
So that's where I would put him. How about you? Where do you think where would you kind of?
Yeah, I think the thing that is, and I agree with a lot of what you said. I think people don't realize, and this is something, because I'm kind of like you. I was a fan of the 49ers in the late 80s, early 90s. So when I was a 49er fan, it was kind of the cool thing to do as well, just because they were winning a lot. They were one of the premier teams in the NFL. All the free agents want to go there, and so on and so forth. Over the last 20 years, though, it hasn't been necessarily the same, until other than like a few, patches here and there where the 49ers have had success. Over the last 20 years, there's only been 6 winning seasons, which is remarkable if you think about that, right? And of those 6 winning seasons, they've been spread apart 4 quarterbacks: Jeff Garcia, Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick, and Jimmy Garoppolo. Of those 6, 2 of those quarterbacks took a team to the Super Bowl, and that's Colin Kaepernick and Jimmy Garoppolo. So when you put it in that kind of perspective, it's really easy to understand how maybe newer fans of the 49ers really hold Jimmy Garoppolo in such high esteem, because they haven't really seen so much success. And then also when you talk about maybe the emotional toll that was going on when Jimmy Garoppolo came to the team, we had just got kind of gut checked by losing a coach that we were really excited about in Harbaugh. We had the Chip Kelly, kind of tenure where the team just became really dysfunctional. And then all of a sudden we get this good-looking, strong jawline of a quarterback that all of a sudden takes a team that only had 1 win and rattles off 5 wins in a row, and then, a couple years later is 13-3, taking a team to a Super Bowl. So you got to give him some props and definitely give him his flowers for bringing back a fan base, getting the team back excited to believing that the 49ers could be contenders again. So, it's more nostalgia why I would rate him, in the same realm as you. Obviously, when we're talking about maybe skill set or overall like consistency at quarterback play, I don't think he contends with, obviously Montana and Young, but even a guy like Jeff Garcia, had multiple back-to-back winning seasons with the team. Definitely would constantly kept the 49ers in contention. We never looked at Jeff Garcia as a weakness that the team needed to it wasn't a place where we needed a solution. Jeff Garcia was always that solution. So I would even put him, a tier above, Jimmy Garoppolo. But I understand. I think that, Garoppolo has done a lot to rekindle what's going on with the 49ers Nation. I think that the 49ers are in a much better position now because Jimmy Garoppolo was there. So, I mean, I think his legacy is going to be looked upon favorably, to be honest. I think that he's done a lot more good than he harmed. And, obviously it's time to move on from him, but still glad that he was here, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I like the way you broke it down, because that really does put it into perspective. Because when you look at it, you kind of went through, there was those 2 years, 2015 and 2016, and even the beginning of 2017, where the 49ers didn't even really have a NFL caliber quarterback. So it was really rough. So when Garoppolo came in and you saw him start to play, you're like, well, this guy walks like an NFL quarterback. He talks like an NFL quarterback, and the team's winning. The love affair with him from the fan base. A lot of, especially the casual observers, boom, right there. That's where they gravitated towards him.
Yeah, and I mean, overall, he might not be ideal as far as the perfect quarterback, but he's much better than what the 49ers have had, in that recent history up until then. He is a starting caliber quarterback, and so I don't want to bash the guy at all, to be honest. I mean, I think he's done what he could given the circumstances. Obviously, injuries played a big role in his legacy as well. But overall, I would give it a thumbs up, just because he did make the team more. He won more with the team than he lost. Had the team, in one amazing season that went to the Super Bowl, 10 minutes away from actually becoming Super Bowl champion. And, because of his injuries, we also ended up getting a quarterback like Trey Lance. So, a lot of good things, I think, to say overall. So,
yeah.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jack.
No, just and also with his injuries, that's how Nick Bosa ended up here. Because if he hadn't got injured that year, Nick Bosa wouldn't be a member of the 49ers either. So, it's I don't want to look at it and say it was a good thing that he got hurt, but there were some benefits that the team took from.
There's always some silver linings in the clouds, right?
That's right.